What does it take to be a man? In today's video, I interview college students, have a crazy debate, and you will not believe what my teacher said. What does it take to be a man in today's society?
A lot. Like a lot. I think that being a man in today's society is quite hard. You've got a lot of expectations. I feel like the idea of being a man and the idea of masculinity is quite difficult for is a difficult ideology to have against men, because men can't always be tough and strong, and they should be allowed to feel emotions. And the idea of masculinity shouldn't really be as enforced as it is. It shouldn't be expected of a man to always be tough and to be a provider and to be able to do all these things, when men should be able to be vulnerable and be emotional.
Okay. How many people say yes? Probably 1 in 10 people say yes. What does it take to be a man in today's society?
A man in today's society, well, with feminine equality being on the rise, it's taken away what men need to be men, because it's all just everybody's the same.
So you think everybody is too equal nowadays? You think there should be a slight polarization or slight difference between everybody?
Women, the culture of women saying men and women should be treated the same. They should be paid the same, shouldn't be followed home and everything like that. But there are certain things that men are better at statistically than women are, like strength. Your average man is going to be stronger than a woman. But our current society as people, they've created it to be too equal.
So you think there should definitely be a difference between men and women, is that what you're saying?
A bit, but not a lot. When it comes to politics and work, not too much.
What does it take to be a man in today's society?
You need to care about people, be brave enough to be yourself. I'm trans, so I want to be a man. Currently I don't really present like that, but I'd consider myself very masculine and my attitudes. I'm very protective of my friends. I'm not saying that's a purely masculine trait, but I think to be a man, you need to care about people. You need to not be afraid to show that you care about people.
What do you mean by being afraid to show that you care about people?
Well, it's very common for men to be oh, I have emotions, I'm strong and stoic, I'm made of stone, I'm a man's man. You need to not be afraid to say to your friends bro, I love you. I tell my friends all the time that I love them. Not because I was raised female, and that's traditionally what girls are taught, to be very loving and caring. But it's also my dad tells his friends a lot that he loves them. He's bro, mate, I love you. My dad's a real man, you know? He really shows his friends that he cares about them.
What values does he have to be a real man?
Honest and very authentic. He doesn't hide shit. He doesn't hide anything.
Going back to what you were saying earlier, we're gonna have a little debate. I think it's just gonna be good to get two people's opinions. Let's just go back to what you were saying earlier, then we'll pick it up from there. So I asked you what it was to be a man in today's society. What do you say again?
Open, caring, honest, good to your friends, not be afraid to show your emotions. Tell your friends you love them, basically.
What do you think of that? Welcome to the show. Shake hands with both people. We're going to keep this respectful, respect people's opinions, and obviously say what you want.
See, I personally agree, yeah. That's also just what it means to be a woman as well. They kind of fit under the same category.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, you agree. That's good. What do you guys think about Andrew Tate and toxic masculinity?
I really don't agree with Andrew Tate.
Personally, I feel like it's subjective. I feel like a lot of the stuff he says is wrong, but at the same time, some people can interpret it and it has a positive effect on them. Me personally, I'm not really a fanboy of him. I don't really know too much about him, but I think a lot of people are quick to hop on and say this guy's this when they only really don't know too much about it. That'll be the same people that will be oh, why are you talking so much about my beliefs when you don't even know much about them? I feel like for you to properly comment on something, you got to know a certain amount about it.
Do you feel like you know a certain amount about Andrew Tate to have an opinion to say you don't like him?
No, so I don't really pay attention to news and celebrity stuff and that, because it's just not interesting to me. But I feel like I know enough to know that I don't agree with his views. I can't agree with his views. I can't agree with what he's done, what he's said, what he's like. I know enough to know that he goes completely against my beliefs.
What belief specifically?
Women should have more power. He said a lot of stuff about women should have to rely on a man. And I don't think that's true at all.
Do you think women should have to rely on a man?
I personally don't think they should. I'd prefer it if I was the provider, but I don't mean they have to rely on me. But yeah, I don't think reliance is really necessary. So
Andrew Tate said all of that stuff about women have to rely on a man, and I agree with what you said. It's fair to want to be the provider. But I really don't believe that, honestly. My mum was the sole provider for my family for 7 years, while my dad was figuring out what he wanted to do.
Well, thank you guys.
Nice talking to you.
What does it take to be a man in today's society?
Is looking out for people who need looking out for, sticking up for the little guy in certain situations. I think a man is a person who jumps into the fire because he knows what it's like to be burned.
A man is someone who jumps into the fire because he knows what it's like to be burned. Damn, okay. So it's about helping people out.
Helping people out and just standing up for people, Doing the right thing even if people don't think it's right.
I just see a lot of men just a bit down at the moment. Not really happy, not talking to people. But I guess it's about talking to people and helping helping people out. So we don't have a student anymore. We've got my sociology teacher. What does it take to be a man in today's society?
It completely depends. It depends like what you believe a man to be. I mean, if you believe like a man is the traditional male provider, or whether actually you think that's now kind of out of date because we've got lots of women in work and that these are shared roles. What we ask of men and what we want men to be is two different things. So we ask men in movies and adverts and the media to be kind of tough and aggressive, sort of macho and kind of show their masculine qualities in that sense. But then in reality, when we meet someone like that, we don't like that. And actually when people are looking for husbands or their partners, then actually they're looking for someone who's kind and caring and will treat them equally and will respect and do all those things. And so what we say men should be and then what we want men to be are two different things. And I think that's where the crisis is in terms of like, well, how should I act as a man? Like, how should I show myself to be male? And I think that's where it's an area that is sort of a new area in the sense that what is a male gender role?
No one's talked about that yet. I've heard a lot of answers like yours, whereas it depends. You could have the traditional role, you could have the cultural, and then it depends on, I guess, your situation or how you've experienced life. You could like grow up with a dad that was really protective or something, so you want to be like that. Or it could be vice versa. It could be your mum could be like this. So it's very interesting. So say you have sons that grow up to be 16, so 17 my age. How would you want them to act?
So I do have two sons. I would hope that they would grow up to be authentic to themselves, and so to be involved in activities they are interested in being involved in, rather than because they are boys, they must do this. And in that sense, then you're able to be more yourself rather than steering yourself towards what you think you should be doing. Boys traditionally getting involved in like rugby and football and stuff like that. If you enjoy doing something else, do the other thing. So don't be confined by your gender role. I would also hope that they would grow up to treat women equally and take on house chores and not see the kind of the burden of knowledge about their future lives. So like if they go on to have children, then I'd hope that they would raise their children equally in the sense that they would also know when the next dentist appointment was, what medication the kid is on, whether they like eating tomatoes or not. And that's not something that like the woman has to hold in her brain, but actually it's a shared burden that the two people can hold together and that they both partake in sort of raising the children together rather than traditional gender roles in terms of, well, the woman looks after the children mentally as well as physically and the man kind of doesn't get involved in that, even if both partners are going to work. And I think that's where we're at the minute. Men and women are taking on similar roles in terms of work, but the roles aren't necessarily being shared quite so similarly at home. And so there's still this idea that women have to pre-book the lunches. So I'm on like WhatsApp groups, so with mums from school, and there's not a single dad on any of those. And I kind of feel like that's the next shift, the mental burden. I think we're doing better on the physical burden in terms of the actual cooking than cleaning. I think men are taking on more of those roles.
I cook a lot.
You
Make some good food, yeah.
Oh,
I still don't do cleaning though.
No.
I do the dishwasher and stuff, but not the laundry.
Yeah.
My dad tries to do it, but he always shrinks it, so maybe my mum could teach him. Thank you for coming on the
No worries,
on the
thank
show.
you for asking
That was a
me.
very detailed answer. It's like a whole sociology lesson. I just had sociology to send. Yeah, but thank you very much.